know that I feel the same way. That's a very few number. Man, the passion, energy from our fan base. I've been in a lot of competitive arenas as a player and as a coach. There was nothing better that I've ever been in than what happened on Saturday night.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and I feel like I'm working overtime. Today, sitting here waiting on it to start snowing. But another player has entered their name into the transfer portal. VAWLS defensive end Tyler Barron. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. Again, it seems as though Josh Heupel is sitting down, having conversations, having honest discussions, and kind of getting this all out of the way at one time. I think that might be a smart move to make. Maybe Josh Heupel is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. But as always, before we get into it, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up just below the video. Helps the channel, helps the analytic. It plays the game of YouTube to help us grow this channel. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. But let's go ahead and jump right into this one. This one kind of caught me off guard, to be honest. I was discussing it in the comment section with another listener earlier today as these names start to pop into the portal. But breaking: VAWLS defensive end enters the transfer portal. This is on SI.com, written by Matt Ray. Says here, Tennessee defensive end Tyler Barron has entered the transfer portal. Volunteer Country on Sports Illustrated has confirmed. The news was first reported by Matt Zenitz of On3 Sports. Barron was a key member of the 2020 recruiting class, which has been decimated by transfers since Jeremy Pruitt was fired. Let's stop right there and make a point, because again, I saw a comment earlier, a lot of plugs going out on Facebook, on social media about these videos that are going up. Some of the comments are just uneducated, and when you compare what's happening now to what happened in when Jeremy Pruitt was fired, it is apples to oranges. It is not even close to being the same thing. Jeremy Pruitt was obvious. Guys took off. They hit the road. Allegedly, those guys that got cash in McDonald's bags were told to go elsewhere. Now we're seeing something different. We're seeing what I truly believe. I've said it multiple times, but I truly believe open and honest conversations with Josh Heupel and his football players about where they sit on the depth chart. Some of these guys are being told to go elsewhere, and it's better for them as well as for Tennessee. I don't necessarily know that that's the case with Tyler Barron. There's some more here in the article that we'll get into in just a moment. But I think this is going to be good for Tennessee. It's going to be good for Will Albright. It's going to be good for D. Beckwith. They're going to have an opportunity to go somewhere else and play football and compete. Meanwhile, Tennessee is going to open scholarships so they can bring in the guys that they want to be a part of this football team. Goes on to say, during his time on Rocky Top, Barron made 4 starts and appeared in 22 games. He had 6.5 tackles for loss this fall and totaled 30 tackles. Tennessee utilized Byron Young, Roman Harrison, and Barron in a rotation at defensive end this fall, and they will bring in James Pierce and Joshua Josephs this fall. They're also recruiting coveted transfer Jared Verse. I think that is what you have to look at. You have to look at Tyler Barron and his, is he going to be able to get onto the field? Also, let's just wrap up the article here. It says Barron's father, Patrick Abernathy, is no longer a part of the Tennessee program either. He was a member of the Tennessee staff for 8 years and most recently served as the director of player development. Barron's other favorites coming out of high school were Kentucky and Oklahoma. Sounds like there is some buzz around him ending up at Kentucky. But reading VolQuest, hearing what Austin Price had to say about this, sounds like Tyler Barron was really struggling with, the issues with his father, no longer being a part of the program. I believe he retired. I don't think it's not like he was fired or moving on. I believe he retired. and no longer going to be there at the school. What's interesting, though, is going back to Tennessee Prime, and that's what was being discussed in the comment section earlier. When Tyler Barron appeared on Tennessee Prime, he seemed very dialed in and focused and committed to the University of Tennessee. So that's why this one kind of catches me off guard just a little bit. But again, when you look at that rotation of defensive ends, Byron Young, Roman Harrison, and Tyler Barron, a lot of times I ask, why don't you put Young on one side, Barron on the other side? Never really seemed to happen. But B.Y. is the guy that really stood out there. But again, when you talk about why these guys are transferring out, why D. Beckwith is transferring out, why Tyler Barron is transferring out, look what Rodney Garner is bringing in on that defensive line. Jordan Phillips, Tyree West, and then your edge guys, James Pierce. A lot of hype behind James Pierce, and also Joshua Josephs. Pierce and Josephs, both edge guys, 4 stars coming in the class of 22. But then as it says there in the article as well, Tennessee is deep in the game with Jared Verse, who is, depending on where you look, one of the top 5 to 10 guys in the transfer portal right now. So Rodney Garner is bringing in some absolute studs on the defensive line. So this is what happens when you start to build a true roster. You start to build legitimate depth. Competition breeds success. Does Tyler Barron want to stick around and compete, or does he want to look elsewhere where he feels he can get on the field and make an immediate impact? This one does kind of catch me off guard, though. I was not necessarily expecting Tyler Barron to hit the portal. So now when you look at the defensive line for next year, Blakely announced that he was going to enter the NFL draft. Obviously, Matthew Butler is entering the NFL draft. Tyler Barron no longer a part of this program. So what was looking like a potential strength, you're going to have to rely on some of these newcomers. You're going to have Omari Thomas still starting, Byron Young obviously still starting. But you're going to have to rely on some of these newcomers, and that makes the decision of Jared Verse that much more important. This thing is down to the wire between Tennessee and Florida State. There was a lot of speculation that he was going to make a decision yesterday. I actually spent most of the day refreshing my phone, refreshing VAWLS, checking Twitter, waiting on that commitment from Jared Verse. Still nothing. He's actually gone silent. He's not talking to VAWLS. He's not talking to the Florida State beat writers. The last I heard, he had not communicated with either staff as far as where he was going to go. So this thing is truly down to the wire. But the last time we had Florida State versus Tennessee, it was for Tyree West. We heard the exact same thing. There was a lot of buzz building Tyree West to Florida State. But again, the ace up the sleeve, Rodney Garner is going to do what Rodney Garner does, and that's why never count him out. I'm still feeling confident about Jared Verse. But again, Tyler Barron enters the transfer portal. This one caught me off guard. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Are you surprised by this one, or are you not surprised? What do you think of Rodney Garner's defensive line coming in to 2022? Who are you leaning on? Who are you relying on to go make plays? They have got to find a way to get after the quarterback. Again, really good job in the run game, really good job with tackles for loss, but around the middle of the pack when it comes to sacks in the SEC. Got to find a way to get pressure, which is only going to help out your linebackers and especially your secondary. If we can get pressure on the quarterback, that secondary is going to be that much better. And we know how they struggled against Purdue. We won't go down that road, but it all starts up front in the SEC. So hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Also, go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin' VAWLS Network. Just go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. Any and all support greatly appreciated. All kinds of different design styles. You can basically just pick the t-shirt logo you want and then customize it from there. But any and all support greatly appreciated. Again, that's bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like me, poets sat in arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated order. and I'm alive.